Here's a fact that should stop you in your tracks. GDP, the number that runs the global economy, that determines government policy, that tells us whether a country is succeeding or failing, was invented in the 1930s by one person to solve one specific problem, and he explicitly warned us not to use it the way we're using it. His name was Simon Kuznets, and the problem he was solving was wartime production capacity, not human happiness, not ecological sustainability, not well-being, war production. So why are we still running the world by it? After World War II, Western governments needed a framework for economic reconstruction. GDP, gross domestic product, the total monetary value of all goods and services produced in a country, was clean, measurable, and politically useful. If the number went up, politicians could claim success. If it went down, they could claim crisis. The problem is, GDP goes up when things go wrong. When there's an oil spill, cleanup costs add to GDP. When divorce rates rise, legal fees add to GDP. When chronic illness increases, hospital bills add to GDP. Destruction, disaster, disease, they all count as growth. Meanwhile, a parent caring for their child doesn't count. Volunteers rebuilding a community garden doesn't count. A fisherman fishing sustainably for 50 years doesn't count. We built a civilization on a metric that literally cannot tell the difference between a hospital visit and a holiday. The degrowth movement asks a simple question: what if we used better measures? Because here's what we know. Beyond a certain threshold of material comfort, more income does not make people happier. Study after study confirms this. The happiness research is consistent. Once basic needs are met, shelter, food, safety, connection, more stuff does not correlate with more well-being. And yet we've designed entire economies, entire political systems, around the idea that more is always better. The alternative isn't chaos. Countries like Iceland, New Zealand, Scotland, and Wales are already experimenting with well-being economics, measuring success in life expectancy, mental health, social trust, ecological health, and time freedom. These aren't utopian fantasies. They're policy frameworks, already in use, already showing results. In Finland, they've consistently ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world. Not because they have the highest GDP, but because they prioritize education, universal healthcare, parental leave, social equity, and access to nature. In Bhutan, a small kingdom in the Himalayas, they measure gross national happiness instead of GDP. 4 pillars: sustainable development, cultural preservation, environmental conservation, and good governance. It's not perfect, but it's a different question. The degrowth argument is, the question shapes the answer. If you ask, how much did we produce? You get a different civilization than if you ask, how well are we living? Growth became our religion because measuring it was convenient. But we don't have to keep worshipping a metric that was never designed to measure what we actually care about. So here's the reframe. What's your personal GDP? Not money. What do you actually measure? Think about the week you just had. What made it feel like a good week? Was it a purchase? Or was it a conversation that went somewhere real? A meal that didn't feel rushed? A morning where you weren't immediately checking a screen? Most of us, if we're honest, already know that our best moments don't register on any economic scorecard. Degrowth asks us to start designing toward those moments, for ourselves, and for the systems we're part of. In our next video, we explore the doughnut, not the food, the economic framework that might be the most elegant alternative to GDP ever designed. Subscribe, stay in the series, share this with someone who thinks more growth is always the answer, and build a world that thrives by design, not by default.